I had an uncle, and his relationship with his wife seemed perfect from the outside. They did everything together, truly inseparable. She was a wonderful mother to their 2 kids, ages 6 and 12, always there for them, nurturing and caring. But she didn't work outside the home. She relied on my uncle for financial support. While he was out working hard to provide for the family, she was at home, betraying him in the worst way imaginable, with another man. And yet, to anyone looking in, she played the part of a loving, devoted wife. A picture, perfect family on the surface, but underneath, a complex web of deception. During this time, our family was going through a rough patch. Another uncle of mine had passed away, which hit everyone hard, but it affected this uncle particularly deeply. He was grieving, lost in his sorrow, seeking comfort in the form of love and affection rather than physical intimacy. He longed just to be held, to feel the warmth of a genuine embrace to help ease the pain. But his wife, she seemed indifferent to his needs. She'd offer a perfunctory kiss or a brief hug, then quickly return to her daily tasks, cooking, cleaning, as if nothing had changed. Whenever we noticed how distant she seemed and asked him about it, he'd dismiss our concerns with, "Everyone deals with grief in their own way." Little did we know, her way of coping involved a betrayal of the deepest kind. She turned to another man for solace, a family friend, no less. It was a shocking revelation that her way of dealing with grief was through an affair, adding a layer of betrayal that was hard to comprehend. In the midst of mourning, my uncle's brother, our house became a gathering place for friends and family, offering their condolences. Among these visitors was a family friend, someone we had known for as long as I could remember. He often came over with his child, creating an opportunity for the kids to play together, a brief respite of innocence and joy amidst the somber atmosphere. While the children lost themselves in their games, the adults would engage in hushed conversations, sharing memories and offering support to each other. This routine of visits seemed to stitch a semblance of community and comfort into our days of grief. Yet under this veneer of solidarity and friendship, there were undercurrents of betrayal that none of us had yet grasped. My uncle, preoccupied with his own grief and the day-to-day struggle of moving forward, didn't question the frequent visits of our family friend, particularly when they occurred during the daytime. He assumed it was simply a matter of convenience, a way for the children to have playmates and for the adults to find solace in each other's company. He saw it as nothing more than an opportunity for his son to have a friend over, an innocent arrangement. This belief held until a moment that changed everything. My little cousin, his son, came to him with a drawing in hand, eagerness and innocence in his eyes. He said he had drawn a picture he wanted to show Daddy, but with a hint of secrecy, he whispered that it was a special secret. According to my little cousin, Mommy had told him that the game depicted in the drawing was one only she and our family friend could play. This revelation, innocent as it was from the mouth of a child, sent a shockwave through my uncle. The pieces of a puzzle he hadn't known he was assembling began to fall into place, a picture emerging that he could never have anticipated or wished to see. This initial hint of secrecy planted a seed of suspicion in my uncle's mind, yet he found it hard to believe that his wife could betray him in such a manner. After all, she was the epitome of propriety and grace, always presenting herself with elegance and poise. Their home was a reflection of her meticulous nature, spotless and orderly. She carried herself with a sense of dignity that made the very idea of her infidelity seem implausible, especially during a time when the family was draped in mourning. We were all taken aback by the mere suggestion, It seemed so contrary to the image she projected. Despite his disbelief, the curiosity and concern aroused by his son's secretive behavior compelled my uncle to pay attention. Watching as his son retrieved a crumpled piece of paper from its hiding place beneath the bed, he felt a mix of apprehension and confusion. The paper, rescued from the oblivion of the bin where his wife had discarded it, held an unknown significance. As his son unfolded it and presented it to him, my uncle braced himself for what he was about to see. The drawing, a child's interpretation of events too complex for him to understand fully, was about to reveal a truth that my uncle could never have prepared for. He explained that Mommy had told him not to draw her and the family friend again, because it's a private game that nobody can know about. However, my uncle's son, feeling hurt, went to retrieve his drawing and thought perhaps Daddy might like to see it and give him applause, because he thinks that he can draw so nicely and Daddy would like to see. It turns out, after some explanation, that it was a drawing of family friend sticking his pee-pee next to Mommy's wee-wee. My uncle took pictures of the drawing while shitting himself and recording everything his son said about what he drew. He asked things like when and where Mommy was playing these games. Turns out, she did it when she thought the kids were busy during the day outside playing, and that she basically had sex around the whole house while locking the doors and leaving the kids without supervision for a few minutes. He also found out that the older kids made their own game of observing the adults having sex and would listen or watch the adults doing their thing through doors and curtains from outside, while the young son who drew the picture would make noises to pretend to be busy playing outside so as not to alert the adults. The children would essentially take turns to see what family friend and my uncle's wife were doing out of curiosity. This coming from the most self-important, prim, and proper woman you'd ever meet. I remember it like it was yesterday, the moment my uncle confronted her about their situation. We were all in his house, a place bustling with the innocent laughter of children, a home he had worked tirelessly to provide for. She had always preferred to stay at home, a choice that never sat well with many of us, given her lackadaisical attitude towards life and the responsibilities that came with it. The tension was palpable that day, a thick cloud hanging over what was supposed to be a sanctuary. My uncle, with a voice heavy with betrayal, asked her the question that had been burning inside him. "Why? After everything, why bring someone else into this home, into our lives, when the kids were just in the next room?" Her response was as shocking as it was hurtful. Without a hint of remorse, she said, "You wouldn't give me what I needed," referring to intimacy, and kept denying me, so I went to look for it somewhere else. She continued, justifying her actions with words that felt like daggers. "I had a right to do it since you weren't giving me what I needed, or caring about me, loving me, etc." The words hung in the air, a testament to the shattered pieces of what used to be their life together. It was a moment that changed everything, not just for them, but for all of us who were woven into the fabric of their shared existence. The simplicity and audacity of her explanation left us all reeling, a stark reminder of how easily the lines between right and wrong could be blurred in the heat of selfish desires. Can you believe it? The whole situation was beyond comprehension. The kids, innocent and unaware, witnessed the chaos unfold before their very eyes. She didn't just step outside the bounds of the marriage for selfish reasons. She went as far as locking those kids outside, even if it was just for a few minutes, all to indulge in her affairs. And as if that wasn't enough, she chose the time when my uncle was drowning in grief over the loss of his brother. The nerve of her to then blame him, saying she did it because he couldn't fulfill her needs, as if her desire for affection justified her betrayal. But that's not where the story ends. Move forward a few months and they're divorced. They ended up sharing custody of the dog and the kids, trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy amidst the ruins of their family. And then she marries the very guy she cheated with. This guy wasn't just some random person. He was a family friend, someone who should have had our backs. What's even more astonishing is this guy's audacity. He actually spoke up, defending her actions, claiming what she did was right because my uncle supposedly failed to take care of her. Can you imagine having the gall to insert yourself into someone else's marriage, contributing to its downfall, and then claiming it was all for the right reasons? It's as if the very concept of loyalty and respect was foreign to them, a justification for their actions, no matter how destructive. The thought that someone could so blatantly interfere and think it's perfectly okay left us all baffled and deeply hurt. My uncle's reaction to the whole ordeal was something none of us expected, yet in some ways it was incredibly fitting. After she left him, marrying the family friend and turning his world upside down, my uncle didn't just sit back. Instead, he took action in a way that would drastically alter both their lives. He fought tooth and nail, and in the end, he managed to gain full custody of their children. Watching him take control and protect his family's future, it felt like a victory, not just for him, but for all of us who had been silently supporting him from the sidelines. And you know what? In a strange way, it was rewarding. Despite the pain and the turmoil, seeing justice served brought a sense of closure. She had chosen to walk away, to abandon the life they had built together for someone else. But my uncle, he took the higher road. He tried to let go of the anger and the hurt, turning to his faith for comfort. He prayed, not for retribution, but for her well-being, hoping she would find the happiness that she was so desperately seeking. He never spoke ill of her, choosing instead to focus on healing and moving forward. His actions spoke volumes about the kind of man he was. In the face of betrayal and heartache, he chose forgiveness over spite, love over hatred. It was a testament to his strength and his unwavering commitment to his family. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's a light that can guide us through. Then, out of the blue, she began reaching out to my uncle again, starting with talks about the kids staying over at her place. What seemed like a simple parental discussion slowly morphed into something else. She began sending him messages, telling him how much she missed him. It took a while, but my uncle finally saw through her intentions. It became clear she wasn't just looking to reconnect for the sake of their children. She harbored desires to rekindle something more, perhaps even contemplating an affair with him, despite being married to the man she had left him for. Seizing the opportunity, my uncle decided to play along, carefully navigating through her advances. He led her on, subtly encouraging her to reveal more of her intentions. Before long, she was sending him a stream of explicit texts and videos, pouring out her feelings and desires in a digital confession of sorts. My uncle collected every piece of evidence, biding his time until he had enough to make his move. And then, with a calculated precision, he forwarded everything to her new husband. This bombshell landed amidst their attempts to start a family, a revelation that undoubtedly shook the very foundation of their relationship. My uncle's actions were a form of retribution, a way to expose the truth, and perhaps, in his eyes, to protect another from the pain he had endured. It was a dramatic turn of events, one that left deep scars and opened old wounds, a stark reminder of the complexities of human emotions and the consequences of our choices. Both of them really learned something important from everything that happened. She learned that cheating is something she might always do. It's a big mistake that she keeps making over and over again. The man who married her, after saying it was okay for her to cheat before, found out how bad it feels when someone cheats on you. He talked a lot before, but now he knows how my uncle felt. It's like life showed him. See how it feels. That's what you get for saying cheating is okay and then marrying her. The story also tells us that not having a job or your own money can be a big problem. After the new husband left, she couldn't take care of the kids. The rules where we live are a bit strange, and she made a big mistake by signing an agreement before they got married that didn't help her later. So, in the end, everything that happened taught them a lot about life, making mistakes, and how important it is to be able to take care of yourself. She found herself in a tough spot, left without a home or a way to support her kids. Without her fancy clothes and jewelry, she couldn't keep up the facade of being someone important. She relied on her new husband's money to act like she had class, but now that was all gone. In the end, my uncle got full custody of the kids and even the dog. It worked out well for everyone except for her and her new husband. It's like a win-win situation, but not for them. It's funny how things turned around for the guy who used to talk so much defending her cheating. Now he knows what it feels like to be in my uncle's shoes. She never understood that class isn't about what you own or how you look, but about how you treat others. She believed that having fancy things like an iPhone, dressing nicely, and keeping a tidy house made her classy while looking down on people who worked for a living. But she missed the point entirely. True class is about kindness, respect, and helping others, regardless of your wealth or possessions. I've seen people who have very little material things show more class than she ever did because they know the value of treating others with dignity and compassion. In the end, it's not about what you have, but how you behave that truly defines your class. It sounds like both my uncle and the family friend shared a common trait. They were wealthy and smart with their money. It seems like she had a preference for men who were financially well off, which is often referred to as having a type. Before getting married, both my uncle and family friend were wise about their finances. They made sure to protect their wealth and assets, which proved to be a smart move in the long run. However, when she married the family friend after divorcing my uncle, she lost access to the monthly financial support she used to receive. On top of that, she lost custody of her children, resulting in the loss of additional financial aid for their care. Despite her newfound financial constraints, she didn't seem to manage her money responsibly. Instead, she indulged in lavish spending sprees, staying at luxurious hotels, going on expensive cruises, and splurging on designer clothes, all alongside her new husband. Their extravagant wedding and honeymoon, which cost nearly $1 million for her share, stretched over 2 months and included extravagant destinations like Dubai and the Mediterranean. She also went to great lengths to spoil her children, hoping to win their affection and approval for her and her new husband, even though he didn't seem to make much of an effort to connect with them. Unfortunately, her reckless spending and disregard for financial planning ultimately led to her downfall. Despite begging for shelter and pleading to see her children, her pleas were eventually ignored, and she disappeared, leaving behind a trail of uncertainty and regret. It's a cautionary tale about the importance of financial responsibility and the consequences of living beyond one's means.